You might not believe this, but I think I've cracked the story of Avengers Doomsday. At least it feels like I have, so listen and let me know if I'm right or not. It all starts not where you'd expect, but at the very end of Fantastic Four. The post-credit scene doesn't tease a big bad from space, or some random multiversal ripple. No, instead, we get Dr. Doom himself. Not hiding behind shadows, no ambiguous setup, just him in the flesh, walking straight into the Baxter building. And here's the kicker. He walks right up to Franklin Richards. At first glance, you'd think he's there to kidnap Franklin, and you wouldn't be wrong to think that. Susan's ready to pounce. She's locked in, aggressive, protective. But then she stops. Because when she looks at Doom, she sees something. Off. Not off like wrong, but familiar. It's Doom, sure, but not the burned, broken, scarred version she remembers. His face is healed, calm, composed. It throws her completely off balance. And Doom? He doesn't threaten, doesn't monologue. He asks for help, which already tells you something is very wrong. He talks about incursions, not just as a theory, not as an upcoming problem, but as something real, something happening right now. And he's not vague about it. He tells them outright that universes are collapsing. Entire Earths are vanishing. The multiverse is under siege. And he's been trying to stop it. That's what makes Susan hesitate. Doom never asks. He commands, he takes, he schemes. But the way he's standing there, like a man who's seen too much, that's what convinces her. She believes him. And that's when she gets the entire Fantastic Four together. Now, their plan. It's bold. They split up. Doom, Susan, Johnny, and Franklin, they go to the X-Men universe. Reed and Ben stay on Earth 616. You may already have seen where this connects. That same moment shows up in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, where Yelena mentions a space crisis, one that Shuri's already tracking in Wakanda. It's not a coincidence. The timelines are overlapping. Meanwhile, in that X-Men universe, things get even more tangled. Doom doesn't sneak around. He goes straight to Charles Xavier, tells him the truth, or at least part of it. He shows Charles all the incursions he's seen, but only the ones where the Avengers destroyed other Earths to save their own. It's strategic, calculated. He's building a case. And Charles? He reads Doom's mind to verify, sees the memories, the destruction. He believes Doom. Enough that when Doom mentions Monica Rambeau, yes, that Monica, and calls her arrival part of a larger design, Charles doesn't hesitate. He orders her imprisonment. That's where the tension builds. Susan pulls Doom aside and asks the obvious. If the Avengers are this dangerous, why did you send Reed and Ben to them? Doom responds coolly, to reason with them, not fight. I have a plan. Back on Earth, 616, Reed and Thing arrive. They don't get a warm welcome. Both the new and old Avengers confront them. There's tension, confusion. But once Reed explains the situation about their Earth facing destruction, things settle. Barely. Shuri and Wong, both already investigating the incursions, realize this isn't some isolated anomaly. This is real. They call for an emergency Avengers meeting. And just then, boom! America Chavez enters with a bombshell. She's found Monica. Found the Earth she's trapped on. But that same Earth, it's the one that's currently incurring. Meaning, it's on a collision course with their own. That sets off alarms. Captain Marvel gets ready to fly off, but Reed stops her. Tells her traveling directly will speed up the incursion. Instead, Reed proposes a more delicate method, using a multiversal ship. That's the beginning of the rescue mission we saw glimpses of in those leaked photos. Thing, Black Panther, John Walker, Falcon, all in an unknown universe, moving with precision. But Doom is 3 steps ahead. In the X-Men universe, he's already hacked the Sentinels. When Reed's ship enters the area, Sentinels attack. Charles Xavier is now fully convinced the Avengers are hostile. He rallies the X-Men. They're going to war. The Avengers tried diplomacy at first, But when they realize Monica's being held against her will, that diplomacy flies out the window. The fight breaks out, and it's chaos. Avengers versus X-Men. The kind of battle the MCU hasn't shown yet, but absolutely could. Alan Cumming, the actor who plays Nightcrawler, even hinted at it in an interview, said he kicked Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic. That's a direct connection. And it's right here in the middle of the storm. Now here's where Doom's true strategy starts to unfold. While everyone's fighting, he brings Franklin into Cerebro, shows him how it works. Tells him we need a better version, one that scans the entire multiverse. Franklin's confused. Doom just says we need to build a team, a real one. Then comes the moment of reveal. Doom tells Franklin to find Wanda, but she's gone, untraceable. So Doom switches tactics. Find America Chavez. At that very moment, America's about to open a portal to help the losing Avengers. Doom times it perfectly. As she jumps in and brings reinforcements, Susan and Johnny manage to de-escalate the fight. And in that moment of peace, Doom strikes. He kidnaps Franklin and America. They try to use their powers. They can't. Doom's ship. It's Galactus's old vessel, now enhanced with magical runes. Power dampeners everywhere. America tries again. Nothing. Franklin's furious. But Doom? Calm. Calculated. He tells Franklin, the multiverse is collapsing, and only you can save it. It's the same play Doom made in Fantastic Four Annual Number 20, where he kidnaps Franklin and makes a deal with Mephisto. But here it's even more sinister. Because Doom doesn't want destruction. He wants order. He turns to America and says something chilling. You are the key to the next multiverse. Where is Wanda? America looks confused. Which Wanda? She asks. Doom shows her a vision. The Illuminati's death in Multiverse of Madness. Wanda, cold, brutal, single-minded. America's eyes widen. She's dead, she whispers. Doom replies, that's not a problem. Just take us to her. They travel to Mount Wundagore. The place is in ruins. The stones are scattered. Wanda's body. Nowhere. Doom looks to Franklin. Tells him, use your power. Franklin focuses and a chaotic magic field emerges. A protective barrier. Inside it, Wanda. Dormant, but alive. Doom gently coaxes Franklin to break the barrier. It's emotional, raw. Franklin resists. But Doom reminds him of what's at stake. No multiverse, no family. Eventually, Franklin gives in. The barrier cracks. Wanda breathes. She's dazed, confused. But Doom is soft, reassuring. Not the tyrant, not yet. Just someone who understands pain. Tells her she's safe. America watches unsettled. The manipulation is subtle, but powerful. Doom's plan is coming into focus. Elsewhere, something strange happens. Shang-Chi's rings start glowing again. Just like at the end of Shang-Chi. But this time, the signal isn't cosmic. It's temporal. The pattern? It resembles Yggdrasil, the world tree. Suddenly, a time door opens and Sylvie steps through. She looks at Shang-Chi and simply says, it's time. He doesn't argue. They walk through the door to the TVA. And what do we see there? Thor and other heroes. Gathered, waiting. Sylvie reveals she's a Loki variant. One of many. And that Loki Prime, yes, our Loki, has been holding the multiverse together. But only barely. Yggdrasil is just a patch, not a solution. The multiversal war was never stopped. Only delayed. And Doom knows this. In fact, he counts on it. The TVA thinks they're fixing things. But Doom believes every fix just makes the collapse worse. His solution? Let the multiversal war happen. Let it cleanse what's weak. Then build anew. He's been planning the incursions. Intentionally. Letting them eliminate universes he doesn't need. Preserving only the ones he wants. Creating a pure multiverse. Thor hears all this and immediately draws the line. Then what's the difference between you and Kang? And that's when OB speaks up. Says Kang's model had zero free will. Doom's model? It has free will, but only within his control. You're free so long as you live his way. It's twisted and logical and terrifying. We then learn something massive. Doom isn't from our timeline, not even close. He's from Earth, 828, a version of the Fantastic Four set in the 1960s. Pre-Tony Stark, pre-modern Avengers. And the only way he knows Stark is through consciousness transfer. Yup, Doom encountered superior Iron Man from Earth 838, the Utopia builder, the perfectionist, the cold genius. Tried to recruit him, failed. So he fought him, killed him, took over his body. Comics even showed both Doom and superior Iron Man on the same covers. This isn't random. Mobius, analyzing the timeline, reveals that Wanda's destruction of the Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness was a turning point for Doom. He realized someone will always surpass him. That scared him. That's why his next target is Loki. Because Loki, with Yggdrasil, is becoming something even greater. Thor is proud. For a moment, until Doom arrives. And he's not alone. His Doom army isn't just Doom bots. It's variants, multiversal Dooms, all of them under the command of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. And here comes the emotional gut punch. Doom made promises. To Wanda, a world with her kids. To Franklin, a family that never breaks. But here's the twist. He means it. He doesn't want to rule through fear. He wants to fix the pain. In his mind, a perfect multiverse means no trauma. No loss, just endless peace. And for some, that sounds good enough. Franklin sides with him. Thor doesn't, and charges straight at him. For a while, Thor wins. He's older, wiser, fueled by rage. But Doom's power isn't his own anymore. It's Franklin boosted. And then Loki sees it. Thor won't survive. He drops his pride, steps off his throne, joins the fight. The battlefield becomes a maelstrom. Loki uses time sleeping to call more Avengers from across timelines. They arrive, but it's too late. Thor is dying. And his final words, the same ones he whispered in Infinity War, the sun will shine on us again. And just like that, the god of thunder is gone. But it's worse. Loki realizes something chilling. The Doom they fought, a decoy, the real Doom, is already sitting on the throne. And then he speaks. Doomsday begins now. Those words hit like a meteor, because the moment he says them, the entire multiverse begins to shift. It's not just a declaration of power, it's a signal. Realities start to warp. Time bends. Space becomes unstable. From the TVA to Kamar Taj, from Wakanda to nowhere, everyone feels it. Reality isn't breaking apart, it's reforming into Doom's image. Everywhere, we see it happening. Worlds falling into line. Avengers, mutants, humans, all being absorbed into something bigger. Not a single empire, not a dictatorship, something worse. A unified multiverse, orchestrated to appear peaceful, but with Doom pulling every string behind the curtain. The visual that leaks described shows this new world not as a high-tech utopia, but as a pseudo-medieval, eerie version of peace. Where Franklin walks through fields with Susan, no sign of Reed. Where Wanda sits in a quiet home with Billy and Tommy, their laughter echoing but their eyes strangely vacant. And Doom, always nearby, watching, ensuring this peace holds. Even Hulk gets a pocket reality, a gamma world, a place where no one fears him, where he rules with calm. But that peace is synthetic. There's no freedom, only roles. Doom assigns them, you live them, and somehow, some begin to accept it. Because this new multiverse removes suffering, removes heartbreak. No Ultron, no Thanos, no Snap, no Civil War, every past pain gone. But here's where things get dark. The The ones who resist, they vanish. Not killed, just gone, wiped from memory. Their timelines rewritten. People forget Thor ever existed. Forget Loki was a god. Forget Strange, forget Kamala, forget anyone who dares to want choice. And at the core of it all is Doom. Not boasting, not laughing, just calm, like a god tending his garden. He thinks he saved existence. But one mind can't be rewritten. Black Priest Strange. In the post-credit scene, we see a figure moving through what looks like pure void, a realm untouched by doom. His cloak flutters, his eyes glow. This isn't the Sorcerer Supreme. This is something far beyond. This is the Strange who's embraced knowledge no one else dared to. The version who became one of the Black Priests, keepers of forbidden magic, wielders of secrets that even the Ancient One feared. This Strange isn't kind. He's not merciful. But he knows the multiverse, in a way even Doom doesn't. And he's building something. Cut back to Earth 616, or what's left of it. We see remnants, barren cities, old ruins. And one figure still standing, Wong. He's gathering survivors. Not heroes, just people. Because the Avengers are scattered, displaced, across rewritten worlds. And Wong understands. If they can't remember who they are, they'll never fight back. So Wong starts breaking spells, cracking open the bindings Doom placed on reality. One by one he frees minds. Falcon, now forgotten as Captain America, remembers the shield. Kamala, trapped in a village where no one knows what a mutant is, begins to glow. Shang-Chi, in a world without his father's rings, suddenly feels them pulse again. Bit by bit, the resistance begins. But it's fragile, because Doom still has America Chavez, still has Franklin, still has Wanda. And as long as they're under his influence, no one can touch the foundation of this new multiverse. Enter Sylvie. She didn't get rewritten, she escaped. Using a sliver of Loki's old Yggdrasil magic, she creates a secret corridor between realities, a timeline outside the flow. A fail-safe Loki had started but never completed. Sylvie finishes it. She calls it the root path. It allows her to travel between Doom's layers, not through portals, but through forgotten truths. She finds remnants of Loki's memories, Thor's old hammer, bits of Yggdrasil essence, and she starts stitching together identity. She finds Loki, or what's left of him. Not the king, not the TVA keeper, but the man, trapped in a small village, raising goats. No magic, no memory. Sylvie touches his forehead, whispers, "You were a god once. Time to remember." And his eyes snap open. In an instant, Loki becomes whole. The weight of what he lost and what he let Doom take fills him. He stands, not as a savior, but as a man with nothing to lose. Together, Sylvie and Loki begin rebuilding the timeline Doom tried to bury. Meanwhile, Strange arrives in a strange zone, a hidden pocket universe built as a mirror to the original, a sanctuary he built long ago in case the incursions got worse. And there, he finds two critical allies, Deadpool and Cable. Yes, them, because Deadpool, being who he is, can't be rewritten. He literally breaks narrative logic. Doom's magic doesn't work on him. Cable? He's a time-traveling mutant with tech immune to dimensional shifts. They've been hiding, waiting, watching, and with Strange now in the picture, they join the resistance. Here's where the real plan unfolds. Strange knows they can't undo what Doom has done. Not with brute force. Doom didn't just conquer. He restructured reality's code. So they need someone who understands that code. Someone with the power of Doom, but the heart of freedom. That someone is Franklin. But Franklin's been turned. Not by torture, by love. Doom has given him the one thing Reed never could, a stable family. No wars, no fear, just peace. Doom presents himself not as a replacement father, but a protector, a constant. To save the multiverse, Strange realizes they don't need to destroy Doom. They need to turn Franklin back. And who can do that? Reed Richards. But Reed doesn't exist in Doom's new world. He was erased first. Too dangerous. Too smart. So they go hunting for variants. Strange, Cable, Deadpool, Sylvie, and Loki begin traveling across broken timelines, finding Reeds who escaped. And one by one they fail. Some are too old. Some are broken. Some already surrendered to Doom. Until they find one, Earth 1711's Reed, a grizzled, bitter version who never became Mr. Fantastic. He was a soldier, a tactician, a survivor. He doesn't hesitate. Let's bring my son home. Meanwhile, Doom senses it. The cracks, the slipping threads. He finds Strange's sanctuary, attacks it, sends Wanda, alone. And here's where things get painful, because Wanda walks in and remembers. She sees the ruins, the echoes, the children's laughter, the blood on her hands. She remembers everything, and she falls to her knees. America Chavez, watching this, begins to question. Doom told her Wanda would be safe, happy. But the woman in front of her? She's shattered. Wanda whispers to America, "This isn't peace. It's a lie." Doom arrives, doesn't yell, just says she's confused. You both are. But America now sees it. She starts to resist. Powers flare. Doom warns her, if you open a portal, this world collapses. She pauses. But then hears Franklin's voice. Let it. And she opens the portal anyway. What follows is a convergence. The resistance arrives. All of them. Wong, Shang-Chi, Kamala, Falcon, Strange, Cable, Deadpool, Loki, Sylvie, the last Reed Richards. A battle erupts, unlike anything we've seen. Not cosmic, not street level, but metaphysical. Fights happen across realities, through memories, through identity. Wanda confronts herself, a past version, a future version, a version with vision, one without. Loki confronts his own death, the moment Thanos killed him, and chooses to rewrite it. Reed confronts Franklin, doesn't beg, doesn't cry, just says, I failed you, but I never stopped loving you. Franklin looks at Doom, then at Reed, and his powers spike. And in that moment, he undoes it. Reality shatters, cracks apart like glass. But instead of collapsing, it resets. Not to the old world, not to Doom's world, to something new. A multiverse not based on control, not on war, but on memory. The true memories of those who lived it. And Doom? Still standing, still powerful, but alone. Because Wanda leaves him. Franklin steps away. America, bleeding, broken, spits the truth. You tried to save us by removing us. He says nothing. Strange approaches him, doesn't threaten, just offers a choice. You can rule ruins or help rebuild. And Doom, for once, says nothing. He walks into a portal, gone, for now. The screen fades to black. But then, a final shot. In the void. At the end of time where Aliath once roamed, a ripple appears. And from it steps Kang, or what remains of him. He looks around, sees the ruins of Doom's citadel, and smirks. Amateur. Cut to black. And just like that, the next chapter begins. Kang is back. Not the Conqueror. Not the variant from Quantumania. Something older, smarter, meaner. This is the original Kang. The one who didn't just fight through time, he built it. The one who taught, he who remains what it meant to win. And now, he's seen Doom's failure. Seen how Doom tried to fix the multiverse through fear and control and still fell. To Kang, that's the ultimate opportunity. Because here's the thing about time. It doesn't care who rules the present. It only bows to those who master the future. We shift to the TVA. It's no longer the sterile, ordered place it once was. Since Doom's new reality fell apart, the TVA's structure is crumbling. The sacred timeline? Gone. What remains is chaos. Branches blooming in every direction. But one man remains. Mobius. He's sitting at the edge of a console, staring at an infinite display of new timelines, wondering if anything they ever did mattered. If pruning timelines was ever about protecting reality, or if it was just delaying the inevitable. OB walks in. Still optimistic. Still hopeful. Says it matters if we believe it did. But Mobius shakes his head. He looks at one branch in particular, the one labeled Earth 6161. And there, he sees something strange. Not Doom, not Kang, not Strange, but a young girl, building tech in her garage, alone. Riri Williams. She survived everything, somehow. And in this world, she's building something new, not based on Stark tech, not on Wakandan vibranium, but on multiversal physics. OB realizes what Mobius already has. The future doesn't belong to gods or timekeepers or tyrants. It belongs to inventors, to those who build, not destroy. We cut away. Back on Earth 616, the dust is still settling. The world remembers again. Not everything, but enough. People recall the snap, Thanos, the battle of Earth. But some fragments, the multiverse wars, Doom's empire, feel like dreams. And that's how the survivors want it. Sam Wilson is in Washington. He gives a speech, not as Falcon, but as Captain America. Says peace isn't something you enforce. It's something you protect. Together. His voice reaches billions. And this time, they listen. Kamala Khan and Peter Parker, now strangely reconnected through strange memory echoes, begin a program in New York. It's not the Young Avengers, not yet, but it's the Spark. A place for those affected by the multiverse shifts to understand who they are. Not just heroes, people. Shang-Chi returns to Ta Lo, trying to understand why his rings now pulse with Yggdrasil energy. And he realizes it's because he remembers the Doom era. Somewhere deep inside, the power remained, ancient, rooted in more than just Earth's history. His story is just beginning. Wanda disappears. She tells Billy and Tommy the truth. Everything. That she wasn't always good. That she's lost. And they finally forgive her. But Wanda can't forgive herself. So she walks away. Not to exile, but to find someone, a being said to exist beyond the edge of magic, the living tribunal. She believes only he can judge her, and maybe forgive her. Meanwhile, America Chavez, now free, goes with Wong back to Kamar Taj. She starts training, not just in magic, but in restraint, control. She understands now that power without purpose can be manipulated, and she's done being a pawn. But the emotional centerpiece? Franklin. He's home again. But it's hard. Susan tries. Johnny jokes. Ben does his uncle thing. But Reed? He can barely look at Franklin. Not because he's ashamed of his son, but because he feels like the failure. Franklin asks him, was Doom right? And Reed says simply, Doom gave you what I couldn't, but it wasn't real. And you deserve real. They hug. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. Earned. And in that moment, Franklin whispers something no one expected. I kept one thing from Doom. Reed looks surprised. Franklin pulls out a data crystal. Embedded with multiversal code, he says, it's the fail-safe, the map. Doom was trying to create the perfect world, but I figured out something else. Reed asks, what? Franklin looks up. The one where we don't need perfection. They plug the crystal into a quantum reader, and what appears is a map, not of universes, not of timelines, but of possibilities. Every what-if story, every alternate path. It's not a roadmap. It's a toolkit. Reed realizes Franklin didn't just store a copy of Doom's empire. He created the blueprint for a future multiverse, one based on evolution, not control. And that quietly becomes the seed for secret wars. Because here's the long game. As this multiverse continues to grow, wild, branching, chaotic, there will be forces who want to shape it. Some will try to control it, like Kang. Some will try to destroy it, like the Beyonders. And some will try to merge it. That's where the next Avengers step in. Not to fight in wars, but to prevent one. And guess who returns to lead them? Doctor Strange. Now fully reborn as Black Priest Strange, he creates a new sanctum, not in New York, but in the in-between. A realm outside reality, where he can see all versions of Earth. He's not just a protector anymore. He's a watcher, a guide. He recruits selectively. Sam Wilson, Shang-Chi. Wanda, eventually. Loki and Sylvie, now travelers beyond time. Deadpool, yes. Because chaos needs chaos. And from Earth 838, a new Tony Stark. Not superior Iron Man. Not a tyrant. But a man haunted by what his variant became. This Tony didn't survive the Illuminati massacre. He escaped it. And he wants redemption. We get a glimpse of them standing together. Not as a new Illuminati. Not as a replacement Avengers. But as something different. The Eternity Watch. And then, cut to the final stinger. The camera zooms out of the multiverse entirely, past timelines, past realms, past logic, until we land in an ancient library filled with floating symbols. A hooded figure writes in a massive tome. The name on the page, Reed Richards. A second name, Victor Von Doom. And the figure says, "They've disrupted the balance again." Another voice replies from the shadows, "Shall we interfere?" The figure closes the book, eyes glowing, voice echoing. "No, not yet. Let them write their story, but soon." A hand reaches for a quill, carves one word into the page, Beyonder, and then cut to black. So did I get it right? Because if Marvel is heading in this direction, we're not just looking at a Phase 6 ending, we're looking at the rise of something far beyond anything we've seen. A multiversal narrative not built on cameos or nostalgia, but on consequences, on the cost of control, on what happens when power, even with good intentions, becomes too centralized. Doom didn't want chaos. He wanted peace. But his flaw was thinking only he could provide it. Franklin's evolution shows us a deeper truth. Peace isn't built by force. It's built by understanding, by memory, by letting things grow naturally. And that sets the stage for something even bigger than Doom. The collision of belief systems. Kang believes in destiny. The Beyonders believe in collapse. Doom believes in structure. Strange believes in balance. And Loki? He just believes in choice.